CMPRadio.net, the voice of Chester.
Hey everybody, welcome to Parental with a Purpose. I am your host, Donna Janelle.
And I am your co-host, Pamela. And this evening, we have our special guest, Kelley Bowers, a business owner, a God-fearing woman, and she is also a lovely wife and an awesome mother.
And a grandmother, don't forget that. Kelley's a grandma. So tonight's show, you know, we are striving, our mission here is to bring back the responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting, right? We know that parents are bows and our children are arrows, and they will land wherever we aim them as long as we give them the tools, right? As long as we're putting them in the right direction, as long as we're clothing them, right? And that allowing the world to clothe them. So as we talk about that, our involvement, parental involvement, how important it is that there's such a mandate on parenting now. I don't know if you guys see what's going on in the world and the communities around us, that parenting is the answer to some of these problems, right? It is the solution. So our goal here at Parental with a Purpose is we want parents to be involved in every area of your child's life, whether your child is still in the womb or all the way up to adulthood. Parenting never stops, right? It changes and it evolves over time, but it never stops. So our job here is to make sure that parents are equipped with the tools so that they can make sure parenting is successful as possible, right? And with that being said, that there is a lot that we as parents have to do. Like the onus is on us, right? We are responsible. When we said responsibility, nobility, and beauty. Parenting is beautiful, but yet it's hard and it has some challenges, right? And we are all parents here, so we know that there are some challenges. So I don't think that we're coming to you from what we just read in a textbook or what we read on the screen. So listen, parenting out here is a hard knock life for us, right? I got 4. Pam got 1, Kelley got 7. It's like, nah.
I got 3 of my ones.
It's like Kelley got 4 herself, and hers are all adults, right? Yes. So we got parenting from every stage here at the table. So we hope that we're going to be able to enlighten you guys with some wisdom and some things that we've gone through and things that are really important. You know, this topic that we've been talking about since season 3 started is really about parental involvement. You know, we had started with education and we're still riding out with this education thing because we know that knowledge is power. Yes. And we know that if we equip our children and our parents with knowledge, that will take them, they'll become unstoppable. Mm-hmm. And that will solve a lot of the world crisis today. Yes. So thank you for coming to the show. Kelley Kelley Bowers. Yes. So as Pam said, Kelley is she owns a childcare center. She's in early education. She's owned childcare center. She's going to let us know a little bit how long she's been doing this. But she is responsible for building the foundation for some of our children in the world so that they become world changers. Kelley, tell us, you've been on the show before. Welcome back to the show, Kelley. Can you remind the audience and us of how long you've been in early childhood?
I have been in early childhood for 32 years.
Ooh, 32 years. Let me count. So I am 44, 32. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes.
What's that, sis? I'm sorry.
I'm be quiet.
Yeah, that's what she does too.
No, because I wasn't here yet.
Pam wasn't even Pam, you couldn't do the math.
I know. That was it.
But so 32 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Tell us a little bit of how I know you had, you had your own home daycare, childcare center, and then you went into this new adventure, and you've had a couple years now into an actual center where there's a lot more children, there's different ages, and a lot more
requirements.
Requirements and responsibilities.
Absolutely.
So how was that? How did the transition come about, and how was that transition from the home to now having a physical center?
Well, actually, the transition really started with my license specialist. When she had first gave me the idea of thinking about taking and putting my center into my church. And I was like, okay, that's a great idea. And then I, of course, pitched it to Bishop. And when he had came into my home center, and he had first said, well, how long you want to have it here? And that was the first.
He's like, this good, but how long?
So when the time came, and I had to abruptly shut down my home center due to the violence in the area I was living, I just had to shut it down because I was responsible for other children's lives, and I didn't want that responsibility, being concerned with bullets coming through my home and everything. So I immediately shut my home center down. So it was shut down for a whole year. But within that year, it was a transitioning year because then I began the process of transforming over to the center, which is located in Christian Growth Ministries. And so
850 North Church Street, to be exact.
Yes, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. And now I have 4 classrooms. Yes, 4 classrooms.
Wow.
Operating. And we do have transportation now. So we have before and after care.
Evolving.
Yes.
Evolving.
So it is growing, Of course, you have your struggles here and there, growing pains, I call them.
Right.
But I am very thankful because I have a great support system. Number one, a prayer partner. Thank you, Donna Wills. And even you, Pammy, you have called to say, I need prayer. I was just thinking about you, So prayer is the number one key.
Okay.
That really got me, motivated and encouraged to make that transition. And once I made the decision to do it, really everything, because it was God's will, everything just started falling in place, Wow. I had the help of my licensed specialist at that time. They were very excited for me. So when she came in and looked at the classrooms, not only did she, had to do her job, but she also gave me encouragement and wisdom. And then I was blessed to have the help of several business owners, childcare business owners that have larger centers than mine that were very helpful. Very helpful and still are, as I call them. They respond to me very quickly. So the transition, it was hard in the beginning because the way I had to shut down. But then when I started moving in faith, it became easy. Everything just started falling in place. And I didn't really have to do a lot of advertising. Right. But really word of mouth. And then what I did start doing and putting out there, I did receive clientele, and then we started having graduating classes. And yes. So.
Which is beautiful when you do your graduation. I
attended the last one. I thought that was just amazing. They was up on
so
stage.
Cute.
They were so cute.
And they are so excited. They come dressed and ready. They tell their whole families. They're so adorable.
Yeah. Now, Kelley, sorry, I said Kel because that's what I call you. Now, Kel, I have a question. What makes you really want to do early childhood education? Like what's the drive there? Because there's so many people, they can start off in early childhood education, and as they continue to build their curriculum and then go into their higher education, they tend to go into like school centers and things like that versus, owning your own child care center, being a CEO and director, and was a teacher. You stepped out of the teacher role now, or you still a teacher? I know you were.
Well, no, I'm not in the classroom now.
Right. So you're doing more of the
administrative.
But finally.
But
that's a blessing.
Yes, but I do still go in and help Amanda with the preschool area because of the fact that, I have several children that would be graduating this year. So I want to make sure that they have everything they need to have to go to kindergarten.
Right.
To make sure nothing is, lacking in any kind of way. So I still assist her because she still have those age groups from 3 to 5.
Okay.
So those 4-year-olds, I have to make sure that they right.
Yeah, they right.
So,
ready.
Let's touch on that because you said I have to make sure. So it's like that that's your duty. That's something that you have taken on. You don't really hear that too much. So I know that you take it personal and that you genuinely care. Number one. However, what does that look like? Making sure they're prepared. Like, what are some of the foundations that you're like, okay, you're going to be good when you go to kindergarten?
Okay, number one is the curriculum that I chose.
Okay.
I have been familiar in using the curriculum, Abeka curriculum, for over, from the time that how many years is that?
No, you gotta go back to know that. I don't know.
Yes, because what happened in the midst of the me doing my daycare, I had closed my center, went and worked in another school setting for 8 years.
Wow.
And in that time frame, I was introduced to Abeka. However, I was doing Abeka in my home, not knowing about Abeka. So when I went to visit and was trained down in Pensacola, Florida, only thing I did down there was cry because I knew then I was being led by the Holy Spirit. So I was receiving and I was just buying as much material as I could. But the actual training, how to work it, the Holy Spirit had already taught me how to work it. And I was doing the Abeka program in my home without the material. I was creating the lessons myself. I was doing the drawing, everything. So when I went and say, wow, I don't have to do this anymore. They actually have books out here, program. Yes, so I taught that a program for 8 years outside of my home, and then the school shut down, and then I came back. But then when I came back, I said, okay, Lord, do I want to go into being a nursery program again with the infants and the babies? Or how do you want me to do it? I had to pray and ask that question. And then that's how I came up with a preschool with a purpose. That was the newness of my business.
Right, okay.
And meaning that my foundation, my calling is to lay the foundation of Christ in the hearts of the babies, that when they get older, that they will go forth and change nations. So I know why God has called me to do the preschool, because it's to give them that love, to help them to know who they are, to teach them about Christ, because of the fact that when they go out there into the secular schools, they won't need anyone to tell them who they are.
Right.
So they will be sound. They will have a solid foundation educationally, and they will have a solid foundation spiritually.
That's good. That's good, because that was the question, like, what made you really do preschool? And that makes sense now, because you need to lay that foundation. Because now at the preschool age, they're talking, they're walking, and they're sponges. As the nursery age, they're babies. You're more just you're like care for them, but just in a different way.
Yes.
So I think that's awesome.
Yes.
Oh.
So when they're in the infancy, 1, 2s, they're in regular clothes. But when they, no, I'm sorry, the 1-year-olds.
Right.
But at the 2-year-old is when they actually have their curriculum really start kicking in with different learning, and they have their books. So that's when I have them to get in the school setting mindset. So they wear the uniform. That's the purpose of why they're in a uniform. So I'm preparing them for school.
Right.
There's no time to baby them.
Right. She said the baby stage is over.
Yes, because of the fact, and it's easy to do, because they're so lovable. They still need, all that extra care, but we have to learn how to do it tenderly, but with the mindset of knowing they're going somewhere.
Right.
And we have to make sure that they are well prepared for where they are going.
Wow, that's good, Kel. Because I think sometimes, even as parents, right? We want to be all lovey-dovey on our kids and like hug them like they Build-A-Bears or something, all spongy and stuff like that. And really sometimes that takes away of our role for them and our job and our goal and a purpose for us to really lead them to their next steps. That sometimes it hinders them. So I like that, because you're right. Like in a regular daycare, like there's just different care for the kids. But once they start to grow, and what are we setting them up for? How are we preparing them? I like the uniform idea, because I don't know, back in my day,
it's structure too.
Yes, exactly.
It presents. There was a thing called Dress for Success. So I feel like that's what uniforms kind of get you. And even if it's not a regular uniform, but even if you're just dressed in like a suit and tie and things like that, it really prepares the children for a mindset that we're going for a purpose, and that I'm dressing for the success that I'm looking to get. So I love the uniform idea, even such a young age as 2 years old.
Yes.
I think that's just amazing.
Yes, to prepare
Helping
them.
with routine. So even if it's not a strong routine at home, they know, when I'm coming to Kingdom Builders,
This is
I know I wear this 5 times a week. I may not know how many days it's in a week, but I know I'm wearing this 5 times, and it's already setting a foundation of structure right there. So you said educationally and spiritually, but you're also equipping them with other tools that even if they're not getting it at home, them coming to Kingdom Builders, it's being integrity, showing up as their best selves. Because I'm sure if you see somebody's uniform, we look the same, but you got your stain on yours. You're like, oh man, I gotta be a little neater, because look at theirs.
I do address that. And to the point of, if the child has not really succeeded in that area yet, because at home their eating habit may be different. Right. They may be still running around or using their hands, but at the school, we give them their tools, and we encourage them to use them, and we're sitting there with them, and great job, But if we see someone that is still struggling with their fine motor skills, I'll remove the shirt.
Okay.
I will. I will remove the shirt, because, once they get all cleaned up, get their face and their hands, everything, I put their clothes back on, and they still be neat. They won't be walking around with stains and everything in their shirt.
That's really good. My kids go to the military academy, and one of the things that they do is they do a uniform inspection. Like my kid, I've never knew of this before, because I've been one of my oldest daughter, she went to private school, but I don't recall them doing inspections for uniforms. I've always presented in such a way where she's really neat. However, but with them going to the military academy, it really opened my eyes on, I'm big on presentation anyway, but it took it up another notch with the kids, because they knew inspection was coming. So their uniforms had to be neat. They had to, no stains, none of that stuff. So I think that's really good. Teach them at a young age a presentation, like how to present your best self forward.
And to care for your thing.
Yes. And also how you present your classwork. It represents you. Good. So if you are made to look well, your paper should look just like you.
Wow.
So that means, okay, I don't want people to think I'm being a tyrant, okay?
All right.
So, but you do have to train the children how to hold the pencil, how to color.
Right.
No, they're not going to start out right away. No, they're not. That's all a part of the training and their development.
Right.
So as they start developing and their communicational skills and more fine motor skills and everything. But as they're doing it, you still making, giving them compliments.
Right.
You are doing such a better job today, staying in your lines and, writing your name. Oh my goodness, the letters could be everywhere. They could be backwards. They could be, but they wrote them.
Okay.
Or they tried. So you want to compliment that. You want to build them up with positivity.
Yes.
That they will continue to improve. Right. And they would take it home. Mom, Dad, look what I did. They're proud, and that's good because you're building up their self-esteem.
I'm glad you just said that. In your expert opinion, how important is it to have parental involvement?
Very important.
And what does parental involvement look like?
Well, for me, parental involvement means, number one, the parent is involved in preparing their breakfast, involved in preparing their lunch. Because, seriously, because having the small center just for a moment, we don't have the ability to prepare our lunch. Okay, so I made the decision with parent involvement. Hey guys, would this be too much for you to bring the children's lunch in? They have agreed. But also, the children love it because it becomes a conversational piece at the table. And I love that because they're communicating with one another.
Do they be trying to trade?
No.
Oh, that's good.
No, they do not. They do not try to trade.
That's good.
They are very thankful with their mom or their dad has prepared for them. And they will let you know if dad prepared their lunch. They will say that.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, so no, they have not, they're very proud about what's in their lunchbox. And they'll also let you know if it's something new. One child today, he had Amanda and I in tears. He tried it. He really did. He chewed it up. He said, "Ooh, ooh," and spit it out and said, "Ooh, ooh, ooh." We were hollering. We really were. But it was so cute, because he, when we tell the children, that's your mom's love. So you have to eat your mom's love. This is what she gave to you. So try it. And
he what kind of love is this? Because you told me this is my mom's love. Wait a minute, flag on the play.
He ate the rest of the lunch, but it was funny. It really was. But yes,
involvement.
Yes, how they take involvement in, like I said, their lunch. Their presentation with their uniform, their communication with us.
Okay.
Because it's important as we have the children about 10 hours a day. You need to let us know if you notice something that the child may not be feeling well that day, or you think they're getting a little cold or something like that, and give us instructions on what you want us to do. So, but it's also important that when the child brings home the classwork,
that part,
that's vital. Why? Because how you take a look at their work as a parent, if you say, "Great job, Johnny, you did it. Oh my goodness." You make a big deal out of it and hang it up. That gives them, when they come back in, their performance the next day, they ready to
do something.
So
they gotta take it home.
I'm gonna make a line today.
Yes, that's right, because they want to make their parents proud.
Right. Okay.
But if you just don't even take it home out of the cubby.
That says a lot.
Especially the 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds.
That starts planting little stuff inside of them.
Absolutely. And they don't want to learn. So when we say, okay, let's do circle time, let's play a game with our numbers or our letters, they, right.
Like
it's not important to them because it's not important to the parent.
Wow. So what I'm hearing you say is that parental involvement is vital. And one of the ways that parents can get involved is getting involved in their education.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We went to visit a school, Bishop and I, and we were talking to, I believe she was the vice principal, and she said the worst thing ever is when they have to make a decision on a child's life based upon the 504s and
the IEPs and the
IEPs, and the parent didn't take the time to come and sit and meet with them to find out what's going on with their child. Now the school, the state has to make a decision on your child's future without you.
Wow.
That stuck with me.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
Parental involvement is so important because, as we say here and we say all the time, parents are your first teachers, your first cheerleaders, your first advocates, your first lovers. Like parents are the first of everything. And if what you don't get at home and you expect someone else to give to your child, I think that's utterly ridiculous. Like you gotta give it to them so that they can understand and accept it from others. I think you and I had this conversation previously, Kel, about when we talk about the whole yelling at kids and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
About like if a parent is yelling at their kid. Now we talk about parental involvement. I ain't talking about be screaming at your kids. But if a parent is constantly yelling at their kids, when they get into another setting, that adult now has to yell at those kids because that's all they hear. Like if you constantly screaming, like, because they're not going to hear the soft, gentle voice or the level voice because their ears are not attuned to that because they're so used to hearing somebody yell at them. And then that becomes a problem within a classroom because say that you're a teacher who don't yell at kids. Well, this kid's never going to do what you ask them to do because you ain't going to be yelling at them.
Right.
So really training parents so that we're not screaming at our kids, that we're talking with them, not at them.
Right.
So that they're better off be able to receive the education they need to receive from that standpoint.
Yes.
We talk about that a lot because we see a lot of that.
That's called something. Like when you use that same tone all the time, because then when you do have to get stern with them, it's like, well, you talk like this all the time.
Yeah.
So at this point, like
this ain't nothing new. Like you mad today? I didn't even know you was mad because you like this all day.
It's an emergency. Are you sure? You get what I'm saying? Like, should I really be doing this or should I be doing that? Because this is what always happens here. And it's like, wow, we really got to sit back and evaluate ourselves. Like, what are we really doing?
You know what? That happens. So, we're going...
How effective are we?
Yeah. How effective. That part right there.
Because we have to make sure that we are getting our point across to our children, because you have to think about it. In the age that they're growing up in compared to...
compared to your age, Kelley. Compared to your age, Kelley. All right. Compared to your time. Okay.
Right.
I'm closer to that than she is.
She's starting with that.
Our children today have a lot of distractions.
Yeah.
A whole lot of distractions. So it's hard to get their attention. So us as parents really, really, really need to know how can we get our children's attention.
Yeah.
That they are listening.
Because they're exposed to so much.
So much.
In this time frame, like I remember my grandma used to be like, "Oh, these kids is fast, they busy." I was like, "No, y'all used to treat us like we was a little slow." Like, we probably was exposed to certain things.
They was holding us back. Huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, like their minds go like 1,000. Sometimes I sit there and watch Victoria, and I'm like, "What are you thinking?" And she'll get like so tickled pink, like, "Mom, how do you know?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I could tell you do certain things. It's either she wants to do an action, whether she wants to write or her read, and then sometimes she's about to draw, and it's like, I don't even want to do this anymore. It's something else I gotta go do, and I'm just like, so damn.
Always moving.
Always moving.
So damn. Today she was doing her homework before we came, and she was like, I said, what's going on? She was like, I gotta take my moment, Mom. And I was like, all right, as long as everything's okay. I tell you messed me up. She said, you taught me about my breathing. You taught me about my breathing. She said, Mom, she said, I didn't want to sit down. But I had to. And she did her shoulders and everything. And I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, you're using what I'm teaching you.
Right.
And I love
good.
it. And I was
That's
just
good.
like, she's like, I'm serious, Mom. I was like, I understand. I'm sorry.
But it's so
If I
funny to
had-
watch them do it,
Yes,
though, right?
Like a
Yes,
little
that's-
woosah.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
that is
it's so
good.
funny because back in the day, I mean, if a child did all that extra breathing and stuff, a parent would think that the child was being smart and get
Yeah.
smart and they get knocked out of their chair. I'm trying to tell y'all, I've seen it and it happened to me.
Yeah.
Like
we sucking it. What is it? Sucking their teeth.
yeah, sucking their teeth. You taking a deep breath. I'm
Yes.
just breathing. What's the problem? Like, I didn't know I wasn't allowed to breathe today. Like, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to swallow my saliva that you didn't hear me.
Man.
Like, I don't know. But it's really different in this day and age of really giving our children that space and teaching them how to self-soothe. That's what it is. Because as a baby, when our kids are self-soothe, and a lot of parents wear, but not really. Our kids have to grow up and they're not going to be with us at all times. And then we need to equip them with the tools to be able to manage her doing that. It was probably funny as heck looking at. I probably would have fell on the floor. But really giving them that time, even at such a young age. And I think sometimes we devalue our children at the age that they are, thinking that they don't need all that. But apparently she couldn't sit down and she needed it.
Yes.
So even Kel, when you look at your kids and you sit I need to come in. Victoria need to come in and do a woosah day with them babies,
Look,
girl. Because you sit
I seen one of your old kids. They said she from Kingdom Builders, and the parent looking at me like, I said, I would visit. I didn't teach that.
Yeah, I think that is so important to really teach them how to be independent. So, one of the things about parenting is that we want to do so much for our children. Like parents, you want the best for them, and a lot of times that there's such a line where you're doing too much, not enough, or just right? And it's hard to tell, but ideally, we really want to teach our children how to be independent as early as possible. And I think some parents, me in the beginning, was babying so much. And my sister has a 2-year-old. Yeah, my sister. Yeah, like.
Oh, I was not like that. Y'all probably thought something was wrong with me.
Probably you're a different generation, so you realize.
With Victoria, I literally did not, like, my mom would come over sometimes like, pick that baby up. And I'll be like, no, she's going to be okay. Like, something happens to me today or tomorrow, my child's going to be okay. She's like, Pammy, she's only 1 month.
Yeah, wait a minute. Flag on the plane.
Look at Tor right now. Look at Victoria
Well, she ain't had
right
no.
now.
Well, Pam, she ain't got no choice to be what she is.
I'm telling you, yeah, because I was determined from when she was in my womb, the way I would talk to her, teaching her about like family, just character, confidence, everything. Even if I was like going through something, I'd be like, Mommy's not having a good day today, but I don't want that to affect you. Like literally having
communicating
real conversations, because when I didn't and I would be upset, she would like cringe in my stomach so bad. It would be like so painful. Like, oh my gosh, can you please move? And I literally would sit there and talk to her. We would pray. And then it would be like release. It's still like that, still to this day, because that was my biggest thing. I want her to be independent.
Yeah, it really is. Like, we're supposed to nurture them and grow, but also understanding that they won't be babies forever, and that they really need a sense of independency, so that they can grow and mature themselves. Growth and development, if you look at the stage of growth and development, there is a lot of independency in those growth stages. We just, as parents, sometimes want to just, oh, my baby. I be telling my sister with my baby girl, she 18 months, I be like, hey, bro, let her do that. I remember, and she's going to get me, but I remember a story when she was trying to give her different foods. And, I'm a pediatric nurse, and I've been doing this, for a long time, and I've been parenting for over 25 years. So I'm like, why is she still eating that? Like, and why are you feeding her? Like, what is going on? And I was like, she's like, but she's going to get messy. It's okay. That's part of that. And I used to be like, I used to give her different foods, and my sister would like, she ain't gonna like that. She ain't used to that. Gave that girl that, tore it up. My sister was like, I didn't even know. So sometimes, even as parents, we want to just continue to baby them, but that's not what they need. Parents got to give them our children what they need, not what we want them to have.
Right, because we're preparing them to go somewhere.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. You know, that's one thing that I keep in the forefront of my teacher's mind. You know, especially my wonderful Kalia. She's a cuddler. Oh, hey, Kalia. Put that baby there. They've been hugged all morning long by you, okay?
Kalia is a hugger because at your graduation, Kel, at that graduation, all them little babies did not want their parents. They was running up on stage for Kalia.
Yes.
I was weak. She couldn't even finish the program with the other kids because those babies was really having a fit to try to get to her. I was like, wow, they are so attached to her.
And
She's a
they can't
cuddler.
say her name. What do they call her? It's so cute.
Some say Lily and some
They call her this one name, and I was like, who is that? Who is that? It's like Kalia. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's good to have a person who's at a child, especially when you go to centers, right? To be able to love your child as much as you do. Is very important, but also, like you said, reminding your teachers that they have somewhere to go. Because I saw that, I was laughing behind them. Them kids was running up on the stage. They moms was like, "Come back over here," and I was like, "Oh, it's a struggle between the teacher and the mom today." Like, I was cracking up. I was weak. I was over there weak because I was like, "Yo, he don't even want his mom though." Like, yo, he want that teacher. But that's so important to remind teachers that they have somewhere to go. And I like that. One of the other things, Kel, that I want to talk about tonight is nutrition.
Yes, we talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
Yes, nutrition.
What we see in the lunches, what we see in the breakfast, or even the snacks that some of these parents bring in for their kids, a lot of it, sometimes it's just quick stuff. Like, we want our kids to have something quick. But you and I had this conversation, and Pam, we talked about this on the show before, about certain things that we have in our children's snack that really kind of alter the brain, right? The chemicals and things, and also the hazard in them, not just the chemical base, but even just the choking hazard and things like that. Let's touch base on that a little bit, because you are early childhood education, so you dealing with children when they come from bottles to finger foods to using utensils, and really having to learn how to navigate chewing and swallowing. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so when you and I were talking about that, my first concern was the oodles and noodles. Let's deal with that.
Oodles and noodles. Are you familiar? You know what was? Yeah, you know.
Oh.
You giggle.
No. No, because but the oodles and noodles, I had to ban them because of the fact, because number one, it became a choking hazard. You know, we found that out. And then all the salt.
It is.
It's a lot of salt in those things, you know. And we don't want to keep giving our babies a bunch of salt. Right. Then we wondering why they have headaches and they're getting sick and everything like that, you know. Some children used to have oodles and noodles every day. Yes, and it's not good, and it's not a healthy meal, you know. So we sent out, Donna helped us to put a letter together, and we sent out the food pyramid.
Perfect.
To the parents, to give them an idea of the different type of foods that need to be given during breakfast, lunch, and we take care of the snacks. Okay. So we know that their snacks are healthy because that's what we have to do per the state. So they have to have whole grain, milk, water. They can have. They cannot have juice all the time. But if they do have a juice, it has to be 100% fruit juice.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what we make sure that we serve. Now, when we do our AM snack, It's usually like a whole grain waffle, or it could be pancakes, but they have to have fruit with that meal also, and milk or fruit juice. You know, it could.
So
be
you have to do a grain
rice.
and a fruit for the AM snack, but for PM snack,
Same thing.
oh wow.
It makes sense because you're supposed to
Same
get
thing.
4 fruits, vegetables per day, and you can get. And then again, we're building a foundation, right?
Yes.
So even teaching them, because some parents really just don't know. They kind of just give them what they have leftovers or something like that. And they really don't know, or the easiest thing, and not really understanding the nutritional value of food, right? So starting them off early, so not even just teaching the parents, but teaching the children of what they should eat and what fruit looks like and what's vegetables. When we talked about that whole oodles and noodles thing, it was just
and the vegetable also.
and the vegetable. Yeah, they need to get
For
familiar.
your AM snacks.
It could be either or.
Oh.
So like celery's a vegetable, broccoli, raw, those things. But it's so important. Like when you had mentioned that oodles and noodles, and I was like, yeah, well, it's sodium, but it's a choking hazard too. Like
What is it?
the oodles and noodles,
Yes.
how and parents really don't know. My daughter, she loves ramen, but what she does, she makes her own now. Because she doesn't use any of the seasons in there. She just like the way the noodles are. So the one that tests my inner gangster, y'all know. She makes her own ramen though. She uses the noodles, but then she puts her own broccoli in there. She does all this stuff. Like it was so
Like a
gourmet.
stir fry.
It was so. One day I was like, this is like gourmet, because I was like, you done put a swing on oodles and noodles. Well, we didn't do this back in the day. At first I had banned it from her because I thought that all she wanted was these oodles and noodles, and I thought about the sodium intake and things like that. But when I found out that she wasn't even using those packets, like she really just liked the noodle portion of it.
Okay.
And I said,
for the babies, they was putting the packets in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a flag on the play.
flag on the play, like, and half of them trying to learn. Look, they trying to learn how to swallow and all that, and they got noodles all curled up in their throat.
The salt.
Yeah,
Oh my.
yeah. But it's so important, even in your line of work, is to educate the families on nutrition.
Yes.
So do
Because
you
it-
sit? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, because it's just not it's just not academia. It's holistically.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now go ahead, Joy.
I was gonna say, when you helped make the letter, did you give food ideas?
I think I put a couple examples on there. Yeah, I did put examples on there.
Okay.
How to replace it. Yeah, I did. Because
Awesome.
I'm a strong believer. Like, if you're going to tell somebody to take something away, you better tell them what to add in.
Right. Absolutely. Right.
Because they're going to add in anything else. Like, that something worse than what you told them to take away.
I know, right? They might just have all chips.
Yeah.
So
She'd be having that.
That too.
So I want to slide back to
Slide back.
you being at the house. Did you have teachers there with you, or was it just you?
Well, I did have teachers with me, but they were younger. They were growing up in the field, and they probably strayed from it now because they're adults. But I always had, especially in the summertime, one of the children that had was with me when they were younger, and now they're a teenager and they want a job, I'll let them come work for me. I still do that.
That's awesome.
I still do that.
Yeah.
Like this year, I had Rain Chapman with me. I had Jaya, Lorraine with me. Who else?
And they love the little people.
Yes, absolutely.
They have a heart for them. So that's awesome. Even the way that you give back and give an opportunity to see, is this a route that you want to go?
Yes, absolutely.
When you start career-wise and things of that nature.
Yes, so during the summertime, I do bring in teenagers,
Okay.
that would like to work with the children, have a summer job.
Okay.
And they have a workload. I let them know what they have to do. So they cannot just be sitting around. No, you cannot be on your phone. Your eyes are at work. You have to watch the children,
Because they're busy.
Yes, read books, play games. Arts and crafts.
Keeping them active. So for communication, I know you were saying, just showing up for the children in different ways. But how do you communicate with the teachers, you and your staff? Do you guys use like an app, emails, in person, letters?
With the parents or with the teachers?
With the parents. Like, so how do you and the staff communicate with the parents?
Different ways. Number one, face-to-face communication.
All right.
Is the number one when they first come in. And I do allow my teachers to have basically the freedom to communicate with the parents. Now, if the parents ask basically like an administrative question, then send them to me.
Okay.
But if it's something pertaining to their child, they seen their child do, something that they observed, yes, write it down and share with the parent, and then you come and we'll put it in their folder once you get your response.
Right.
So I do give my teachers that freedom to communicate with the parents, but also make me aware.
So that you're in the loop.
So yes. Face-to-face communication. Naya sends out emails.
Okay.
If there's a change or a sickness, that is spreading around, something that is very, very important that the parents need to know immediately. Naya will send out an email. We'll text.
Okay.
We'll phone call.
Okay.
Whatever way we have to do. We don't get their attention one way, we'll keep it going.
And so do you feel as though you've made the environment suitable for parents to have that open line of communication with you and the staff?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
A little bit too much sometimes.
Yeah. Because sometimes I wonder if parents don't communicate because they don't feel as though they have that environment.
Right.
Yes.
Or, it's made available to them. Like I had to tell my daughter's teacher this year, I don't know, I guess I was so used to her teachers in the past, just communicating certain things, and I don't get to physically see her how I used to with Victoria being in early education centers, so the communication was different. So I told her, I'm that parent that wants to know, everything. If it doesn't cost you too much, could you do this? And she was like, oh my gosh, she used to get shot down, so that's why she fell back. She didn't get responses, so that's why she fell back with the homework. She said this is her first year, and I think she's been a teacher for 15 years. This is her first year with the turnover that she gets with homework coming back completed.
Wow.
And that's why she does it every other week, because she says nothing used to come back when she sent it every week. She says, and I've even tried every other week. She said, but this is the first year she's had so much parent involvement. She was like, do you guys all know each other or something? I'm
telling you that we're coming back. Parenting is coming back. We're not playing. Now, Kelley, another question for you. No, seriously, not. How can you give us some examples of how parents should be, I guess, being involved educationally and socially with their children, either prior to coming to preschool or even while their children are preschool? Because again, our kids are going somewhere. So what does that look like as a parent? When you're giving the child homework or work, what are the parent doing at home? Can you give us some examples of what you would like parents to do to help make preschool successful? There we go.
Well, learning starts at home. That's the number one thing. I suggest that parents, number one, learn how their child learns, what they like, what will motivate them, right? So when they do get into preschool or when they do go to kindergarten, right? The first thing the teacher is going to ask, what does your child like? You will be able to give them an answer. Well, you know what? He really liked cars. And if you just bring cars around, he will do anything for the cars. And of course, as a creative teacher, you can do a whole lot with cars.
Yeah.
Right? So that just gave her a leg up in creating or putting her lesson together.
Wow. Yeah. I never thought about it like that.
Yes. So that helps a whole lot. The parent is able to tell the teacher, about their child, their likes and their dislikes, right? Will we be wondering why a child is shutting down? That's because we're doing something they don't like.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then that's where it's important for the parent and the teacher to communicate.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes. So that's the importance there. And then as the child continues to develop, you just start making sure that they have different things that you see that they are struggling with. Say if it's their county, right? A lot of or ABCs. I'll say ABCs because a lot of children or parents think their child know their alphabets when they start singing them.
Oh, I was gonna say I seen that today. One of the this college professor, she said that what she realized is that everybody's like, my kids know the ABCs, my kids know the ABCs, and then they start singing them, but then without singing them, they didn't know them. They didn't know what came before or what came after. I'm glad you said that because we're thinking a lot of times that we're my kids know the ABCs because we're singing them, but not actually using them each letter individually because letters form words,
right?
And words form sentences, so on. So that's a good point you said, Kel, because I never thought about it until I heard this professor say that yesterday. Matter of fact, she was like, "Yeah, everybody think their kids know ABCs." I'm like, "Well, if they singing them, they know them." And then she was like, "No," and she broke it down. So go ahead.
You can even show them, and they won't be able to identify.
Yeah. So you're saying do more than just sing to your kids.
Yes, you have to, number one, tell them the importance of learning a letter because letter makes words. Letters, this starts off like in the Abeka curriculum. You take 2 letters. You say with the vowel and the other consonant, and you put them together. Makes a sound first.
Right. Oh, yeah. We went straight to a letter, make a word. We talking about we need some sounds.
Right. So they have to learn those sounds.
Right.
And then from them learning the sounds and you put, another letter there, now you have a word. But they have to know that structure.
See, that's why you who you are. Because I didn't jump right to the words. I'm like, listen, you need to learn this letter so you can get this word together. No, you said you need to learn this sound so you get this letter.
So with that, they're able to sound out words.
Yeah, that makes sense. The phonics a little bit. Yeah.
And then it also teaches them the importance of certain letters, like the vowels.
Right.
How they operate and also how they change sounds.
Yeah. Wow. So don't just jump and skip and think your kid's supposed to be reading a whole book and we didn't even teach them how to sound.
No, they sound.
Yes, but the main important thing is that you're teaching them about their alphabets and why they're important. So then as you're teaching them, they know exactly what they are supposed to do and what they need to listen for.
That's good. All right. Any more questions? Because I know that was good. Because I didn't even think about that. We need to come to a close though. But anything, Pamela? You have anything to say? I think that just really hit me. Like really teaching them the importance of the alphabet. We're not just teaching the alphabet. Just anything that we teach our kids is not just teaching them just to teach them. It is really tools to get you to the next level. And we can't jump and skip these levels.
No,
that's
one thing why I love the Abeka because they have levels, they have steps, and now it starts at 18 months.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Wow. All right, so we had a fantastic night here at Parental with a Purpose. We learned a couple things, even in my old age garden parenting. I ain't got no babies no more. I got some God babies, but just really understanding the foundational things that we really as parents need to be able to give our children and how communicating and being involved with the teacher or the even daycare or preschool, how important it is. I think tonight, like our takeaways really is making sure that we're laying a foundation of nutrition, and just a foundation of like excellence. Like when we talk about presentation and appearance, and really giving our kids the tools to be successful. And that comes from the parent first.
Yes, because like you said, with nutrition, we have to be mindful. That's brain development.
Right. Brain development is so important. And people don't realize. I know one of the things when I was working in a doctor's office, and the parents used to come in. I'm gonna finish this up, but parents used to come in and ask us to write a letter stating that their child could not have like whole milk, or they wanted the 1% or skim milk and everything. And we used to have to explain to these families that is not healthy for a child. You would think that it's healthy because it's healthy for an adult. But as children grow, you need that fat for brain growth. Right. You need healthy fat for brain growth. And a lot of times we want to put our kids on diets and restrict things from them, saying that they don't need this and that. But we know that sugar is carbohydrates, and that's energy source, right? We know that protein is necessary. We know the fat is actually necessary. So we used to have parents, and they would get so upset with us because we said your kid has to have fat. Yeah. Like you didn't want the kid brain to grow. But they didn't understand. But that's part of just educating families too. When we talk about nutrition and the things that they need, not just fruits and vegetables, because then some families will think, oh, that's all they need is fruit and vegetables. No, there's other parts that you want the grain to grow, or you just want them to be real skinny, and then they look like they're malnourished. Anyway, I digress. So
she's a nurse.
So it's been really a great night just learning about how important early childhood education is, and its necessities in order for our building a foundation so that our children are able to build upon that foundation and be able to have much fruit from that root. Is important. So we thank you, Kelley, for coming here again tonight and just sharing with us your experience as a home childcare center and then a center, and how we're so glad that you are expanding. Thank you. I do remember you were just at home with that little living room, not little, but with that little living room. But now you have 4 classes, and that's just a testament of how much love and things that you're pouring into these children that you're able to grow and expand. So that's amazing. Definitely keep it up. And I see that your center is expanding to multiple centers because of the foundation you have laid in these children for all these decades, and we can see the fruit of it.
Yes, thank you.
What you got to say, Pamela?
I just want to say thank you for dropping a nugget of telling us, informing us about learning, the importance of learning your child. Because they are going somewhere. So not just they have somewhere to go, but they are going somewhere. Making that statement, making that demand, having their charge on their life, so that when you're waking up, you're waking up not just for your own purpose, but for the purpose of your child.
Absolutely.
To help lead our communities, help lead, different organizations, to help lead this world so it can all be a better place. This is what Parenting with a Purpose is all about, dropping the tools, the nuggets, and then also what you're experiencing. So as we previously said, we're not just talking from what we see and what we're reading, but real life things, watching you evolve. Because I remember before it was 4 classrooms. So just watching that grow, watching your staff grow. And you said you did advertisement. I was like, did you? I don't even remember you doing advertising. I remember seeing people like, send them to Kingdom Builder.
Kingdom Builders Love Center.
Word of mouth. Yes. So your actions are speaking for you. Your character is speaking for you in rooms and tables that you haven't even been at yet. So we thank you for what you do, what you stand for, and coming here to show up and inform our audience as well.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Well said. So thank you again for joining Parental with a Purpose podcast. We are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Bringing back the responsibility and nobility and beauty back into parenting. You can follow us on Facebook at Parental with a Purpose page. You can follow us on Instagram on Donna Janelle. You can also email with us parentingwap@gmail.com. If you have any questions or any concerns, and even if you want to be a guest on our show, if you have a parenting story that you would like to share with the audience, we are open to all stories. There's no topics we don't talk about. So yes. Everything is a topic and we're ready to engage with it. Even if we don't even agree with the topic or your stance on it, we are available for healthy debates around here. Yes. As you can tell, Pam and I have a lot of healthy debates around here. But we certainly appreciate you guys joining us, and make sure that you follow us again on Facebook on Parent with a Purpose page, and also Instagram under Donna Janelle. Thank you.